Good morning, grade 12 geography learners. My name is Mrs. Shafter and I will be presenting to you the second segment under urban settlements, and that is urban structure. We're going to look at urban structure and its patterns, and we will also be doing the assessment and going through previous question papers to see how the specific section is examined. So it's important that you pay careful attention to what we will be going through today. We're going to look at the following. We're going to look at the structure of an urban area, and we look at the study of an urban area will involve 3 areas: the urban profile, urban land use zone, urban street patterns. Again, learners, I want to make you aware of the following. Please do not forget to revise all your concepts before doing your worksheets, which is uploaded. Please access all your question papers on the website. I've included some of those questions in your worksheets. And most of the questions run parallel with the content so that you can match up and see how the questions are asked with the content. Let's start off with the urban profile of the city. The urban profile of a city means the following. It's the view of an urban area from the side. Here you can see the urban profile, you can see an urban area, and you can see the views from the side. It also means that it takes note of the following. We look at the height of the buildings. Can you see that in the picture here? We look at the height of the buildings. We look at the density of the buildings. And we're also going to look at the land value of this specific areas in the city. Why does the height and density of buildings decrease as you move further away from the city center? You have a diagram here where you see higher buildings over here, and you see that the density, or let us say buildings, become fewer as you move in this direction. You will see the following here: taller buildings here, and then as you move, as the arrow indicates, the buildings are becoming lower. So, what does this mean? As you move from the city and you move to your surrounding areas, the buildings and the density of the buildings actually becomes lower, or they decrease. Now, on this diagram that you see here, or on this picture that you see here, you will see the following. You see the CBD, which is commonly referred to as the Central Business District. You see the transition zone. You see industries. You see residential areas. You see the rural areas here as well. Now, all of these sections of the city, all of them, or what we call together, they are called land use zones. And we are going to speak about that later in the lesson. So please, learners, go to your textbooks and go to your concepts and go and find out what are each of these, although I will be going through them in the lesson with you. But you still need to go to your textbooks and go and see that you revise these different land use zones. Let's look at what we are talking about. Firstly, the land on this side here of the sketch, of the picture, the CBD. Here, the land, in other words, we're going to look at the characteristics. The land here is very expensive. In other words, the land or the value here is very expensive. There's a lot of competition here with a lot of, let us say, companies. The density, there's a high density of buildings. What do we mean by that? Can you see how close these buildings are spaced? They together they are very, very close to each other. So it's very dense here. Most of the buildings here are vertical. In other words, they are usually very high, and that is what you see in the CBD or in cities. Most offices are concentrated in this area, and also it's the commercial hub. Most commercial activities are found here. Then, when we move to these areas over here, the land here becomes cheaper. There's a lower density of buildings, and most of the buildings here, can you see, because they're not so dense, most of the shapes here, it's usually, you see, horizontal. And you'll find most industries here, and most houses or residential areas here. So you can see clearly what we have in front of you is a picture of the following. It actually gives you how the CBD is structured, as well as the land use zones, which we are going to talk about now. Let's look at this term that they call land use zones. It's an urban area with a specific function. Example, residential. In the previous slide, I showed you all these areas. This is your area, your land use zones. It's the CBD, there's the transition zone, which I'll speak about later, there's residential, there's industries. These are all land use zones, and that is what we refer to. It's an area, urban area with a specific function. Example, residential. Then land value. It's the measure of how much land is worth. Right. Let's go on to these. Let's start off now with our land use zones. This is very important for the exams learners because you can score easy marks here if you know your land use zones and you know them in the following way. You are able to identify it on a sketch or a diagram or a picture, and you are able to give the characteristics of each of these zones. They are as follows. We found the CBD, and there is a picture, diagram of the CBD. We found the industrial area here, where we're going to specifically speak about heavy and light industries. Then we found the residential area, or the residential zone, which is made up of our houses. Then we find the commercial area of the land use zones. Then we find the zone of decay, and we find the rural-urban fringe. We are going to look at the definitions of each of these, and we are going to look at the characteristics of these, and we are going to look at examples of each of these land use zones. Again, learners, please, it's important that you again go to your previous question papers and see how these questions are asked or dealt with in the exam. Let's start off with our first land use zone, the CBD, or that we call the Central Business District. Let's look at the following. Where is it found? It's usually the central part of the city. It's very accessible because most people go to the CBD to do the following. They either work here, their businesses are here, therefore it's most accessible via transport routes or traffic routes. It's where all transport routes meet, and it's usually the city center. What are the characteristics of this zone? Let's look at the characteristics of this zone. It's got high land values, meaning The values of the land here, very high. Land is expensive. That is what we meant when we defined land values previously. We also said, when we showed you a diagram where the highest building density is found here. The buildings are very densely spaced, very close to each other. Tallest buildings are found here, always vertical in height. There is a large concentration of shops and offices in this area, and very high order commercial functions are found here. Remember, learners, we spoke about high order and low order commercial functions, and remember we're speaking about them here. Let's move on to the next zone. The next zone is called our industrial zone, or the land use where all our industries are found. Let's look at them. What are those industries that we found here? There are light and heavy industries here. It's important, learners, that you know what is a light and a heavy industry, because you're going to deal with this in your next section of geography, mainly economic geography. Then you should know what are these industries all about, especially where they are found and their characteristics. They are often a light industry, often near the CBD or residential areas. They are also in planned industrial estates, and it's near transport routes. What are their characteristics? They have very little noise, air pollution, and they don't deal with heavy machinery. It's a light industry. Industries, heavy industries, they are usually found on the outskirts of the city. On which land? On cheap land. Near major road and rail networks, on flat surfaces, and they are near a water source. They give off a lot of air pollution and noise pollution, and usually dangerous. That is the reason why they are situated on the outskirts of the city and they are on cheap land. It is because of these characteristics. When we look at these industries that we spoke about, and we're going to talk about them later, again, these are the factors that influence the location of industries. It will be the level land, the material that they produce, raw materials, water, labor, power, transport, and the market that they need for them to sell their produce. This will be dealt with when you do your economic geography later on, but it's important that you take note of them. Then we go to the residential land use zone. The zone has got 3 specific areas in it. It's got a middle to a high income zone within the residential areas. It's where people live, where people's houses are. The low income zone, and then the informal settlements. Where are they found? Middle. They are found away from the CBD. They've got a good view. Large properties, good services, recreational areas. These are usually your very, very upmarket residential areas. Right. Let's give you an example. For instance, Sandton in Gauteng. These are areas that can fall into this zone. Then the low income, close to the CBD. Houses are close together. Fewer facilities, poor services, smaller properties. Typical, this could be a township areas. Then we've got a new sector here. It's called the informal settlements. They are usually on the outskirts of the city. Remember, most people in informal settlements usually come to the city for jobs, and therefore they build their houses out of plastic, zinc, wood. This is the typical characteristic of informal settlements. And remember, learners, you find them on the immediate outskirts of the city. There's usually unhealthy conditions here, no service delivery, poverty is rife here, crime, and there are also positive characteristics in some of these informal settlements. If you look at them, right. Let's move on to the next residential zone. This is the commercial zone. It's the CBD. It's in the commercial heart of the city. Most of it, the CBD, the commercial functions, have been decentralized. In other words, that function has been taken to shopping malls. And most of your shopping malls, you have a variety that you can think of in cities. Big metros, Gauteng, there's many malls there. In most of our areas, Port Elizabeth, there are malls there. In East London, there are malls. Okay? So the commercial function has been taken out of the city and decentralized. Right? So this is also a land use zone. Then we go to the zone of decay or the transition zone. Right? In other words, when we call this zone of decay, it's a zone of decay, and it's usually called the transition zone because it moves, it's got a lot of functions. Right? It's just outside the CBD. Again, characteristics, it's got a variety of functions. There can be houses here, there can be commercial properties here, there can be light industries can be situated here, right? There's decaying buildings, in other words, buildings that are basically degrading, right? Then there are areas where there's renewal of the land. There could be new buildings coming up, and this is very valuable land. The reason being because it's just outside the CBD. So this is the zone of decay, the transition zone. How is it managed? Right. There's a lot of renovation going on. In other words, new buildings are erected. There's renewal, right? And it's also reducing housing density, right? Because of renovation and renewal. Right. Now let's look at all the land use zones collectively as they are. Right. So you can see, if you look at a picture here of a typical photo of the land use zones, you can see that the commercial hub, that is where you will find your CBD commercial hub here. You will find older buildings in this area, mixed functions, old buildings, and also buildings that have been renewed. We look at the industries on this part, and you can see it's on the outer part of the CBD. Then you will also find industrial areas, industrial parks situated here. Then you will also see on this side here renewal, where new buildings has been built or developed, right? Then you will also find the residential area over here, right? So from here you can see all these functions, as you can see, makes up the zone of decay, right? All these functions form part of the zone of decay, right? Let's start off with our next zone. And this is called the rural-urban fringe, right? In other words, rural-urban fringe functions that are found in the rural-urban fringe, it's on the edge of the urban area. What are its characteristics? Urban functions invade the rural area. It's got both urban and rural functions. large properties because of cheaper land, plots and small buildings, airports, cemeteries, power stations, golf courses, and sewage wells. These are the functions that you will find in the rural-urban fringe. Right? And you need to look at the word rural and urban, and it tells you it's got functions of rural and urban. Let's look at a typical photo of the rural-urban fringe of power. Right. On this side, you can see this area here, rural, and on this side here of power, you will find most urban areas over there. And we remember we spoke about the cemetery, right? These agricultural showgrounds. Can you see we spoke about those when we did the characteristics of the rural-urban fringe. Here's a typical photo which actually shows you what it is. Take note where these functions are. That is the urban there, which I showed. That is all your urban areas there. If you go further on the right hand side, here's your rural areas, right? Therefore, it calls the urban-rural fringe, right? And if you look further, let's look at what are the functions that we already alluded to. The cemetery, the power station, the cricket grounds, small holdings, palm malls, yeah? On the side you find the golf courses as well, right? So you can see the mixture of rural and urban functions here. If you look on a topographical map, right, you can again see I've highlighted to you how you can actually look at the rural-urban fringe, right? The residential functions, industrial, the zone of decay, the CBD, the commercial hub. So in other words, if you look at this topographical map, it's collectively telling you what are all the land use zones, and you are able to identify them on a topographical map. Please look at them carefully and then apply this. Look in your textbooks for a topographical map and see whether you can apply and identify all your land use zones on the topo sheet by looking at this specific slide. Let's look at how these questions can be asked in the exams. Right. What do we call, when we look at this, here's a diagram here which clearly indicates a number, or let us say the structure of a typical urban area. Let's look at some of the questions that can possibly be asked. It's usually asked, they can ask, what is the movement of people from rural areas to cities? By looking at the sketch, you must be able to look at the sketch and identify that. It's usually called rural-urban migration. What is the movement of people from cities to rural areas? That is counter-urbanization. And there you have rural-urban migration, movement from the rural areas to the urban areas. Then movement from the urban areas to the rural areas is called counter-urbanization. A term that describes the physical growth of the city, right? It's called urban expansion, when the city physically grows, right? More buildings are erected, etc. So that we call urban expansion. An area of decay on the outskirts of the CBD. Remember, we spoke of this area of decay, which is usually called the transition zone, but another word is called the zone of decay. Again, look at your slides. Yeah? Then, refers to the modernization of old houses by wealthy people. And this is called gentrification. This is where your older people, by wealthy people, they usually modernize those old houses in the city that have been abandoned. They buy these plots and then they refurbish them and they renovate them into very, very, very smart properties, and then we call that process gentrification. So please, again, that term gentrification is one of the concepts that you should know. Please take note of that. A feature that prevents urban sprawl, this is the green belt over here. That is the green belt where you find layers, a section outside of the city with what? Trees, beautiful trees and areas that has been now known, which is called the green belt. Sorry, the renovation of buildings to reduce migration and improve the urban environment. Renovation of buildings to reduce migration and improve the urban environment. In other words, when people renovate their buildings over here and they reduce migration. So what do? We call that? We call that regeneration, right? Which you find over here. In other words, we people, again, they improve the buildings and they prevent people from moving out of the urban area. So they improve the urban environment to keep people there. Then the percentage or the increase of people living in cities, it is called urbanization. Again, people, you must not make the mistake, you must know, when we speak about the percentage increase of people living in cities, we speak about urbanization. But the movement of people from rural areas to cities is called rural-urban migration. You must not confuse the two, please. This speaks of the movement, rural-urban migration. This speaks to the percentage increase, urbanization. These two are often confused, so please make sure that you know them. This is a typical 8-mark question in the exams. There are many of these type of questions where they give you a diagram and then you must be able to identify the concept from the diagram, what it means. So please familiarize yourself with these diagrams and these questions. Like I said, I have uploaded a number of worksheets, and in each of the worksheets I dealt with the topic. In other words, if I've done land values, land use zones, I would have the topic in the slides, and then I would then also have an accompanying worksheet with a number of questions that I have taken from previous question papers. So that is the way you must also study. Study the topic and then you also go to previous question papers and see how the question is examined. Let's go to our next question paper. The next question paper is as follows. We then looked at urban land use zones once again. Here you again have a diagram sketch of the land use zones. Right. And let's see how these questions was asked again. It says there, the land use zone that has the highest land value. Which is that land use? What is that land use zone? It's the CBD, the Central Business District, has the highest land use zone. It occupies the most amount of land in an urban settlement. It is the suburbs, with people of the residential areas. This land use zone consists of a large number of immigrants. it is the zone of decay. It's another characteristic of the zone of decay. There is a high degree of accessibility is evident in this land use zone. Again, it's the CBD. Right? Very accessible. This land use zone is mostly made up of residential areas, suburbs. Land is usually cheaper in this land use zone. It's called the rural-urban fringe. This land use zone has a number of dilapidated buildings. It's called the zone of decay. And in this instance, this question was 7 marks. So can you see, learners, it's questions that you can score marks very, very easily. So please make sure that you go through again all your previous question papers. Let's look at another question. Remember previously I showed you this topographical map where you need to now identify where the land use zone will be. Right? So the CBD will be found where? At C. Just compare this total graphic slide with the previous one that I've already done. So it will be found at C. There you have it. It shows you. What is not, which of this, if you look at these pictures here, which one is not found in the rural-urban fringe? It is C. Why? Because C is the CBD. It is not found in the rural-urban fringe. All the other ones, A, your industries, B, the airport, D, the cemetery, all of these are found in the rural-urban fringe, but not your CBD, or Central Business District. The statement that I give is the buildings are at its highest and most dense in the city center. Then we look at the reason. The value of the land increases as you move away from the city center. Choose from the following. It says the statement as well as the reason is correct. The statement as well as the reason is incorrect. The statement is correct by the reason. The reason is incorrect. The statement is incorrect, but the reason is correct. C is correct because the statement is correct. The buildings, the CBD, buildings are at its highest and it's most dense in the city center. The reason is incorrect. Why? Because the value of the land increases as you move away from the city center. It should read the value of the land increases as you move towards the city center. Because remember we said in the city center, land values are at its highest. So thank you, learners, for today. We have basically gone through your land use zones and we've touched on the urban profile. So what is important again? Please ensure that you go through previous question papers, go through the slides that I have loaded, go through your worksheets which I have loaded, and our next segment that we're going to deal with, we will be looking at the structure of the city in terms of the following. We will be looking at urban structure in terms of the models of the urban structure. We'll look at a multiple nuclear model in the city. We'll be looking at street patterns in the city, and we'll be looking at the problems that our modern cities are found and what modern cities, the problems that are encountered in modern cities. So we'll be looking at all of that, and I will also be once again giving you questions that relates to those topics. I also want you to take note of the following. Please again go through all your concepts before you start any section of the work. Make sure you revise them and that you are familiar with them. And also make sure that you relate them to the topics that you are dealing with. Make sure you know, go through these sketches that I've given you so that you can become familiar with them. Make sure that you also familiarize yourself with each of the diagrams that you get in your question papers. Go through them thoroughly so that you know what is expected of you in the exam. This section again, learners, you can score very easy marks. Therefore, the more you familiarize yourself with previous question papers, you are busy preparing yourself for the exams in a very, very, very constructive way. So thank you until I see you again with our next and the third segment of our work under urban settlement. Keep safe and keep well. Thank you.